So we're having some network difficulties over here, so that's basically what's happening. We're getting kicked out. The internet just keeps kicking the stream out every few seconds. I'm not really sure why that's happening. Hold on. Okay. So hopefully this should work properly. All right. So let's get back to the builds that we were looking at right now. That was right over here. So this is the next build that we are going to take a look at, which is the brand-based Templar Hierophant, right? So this guy is going to be based on the Ascendancy Hierophant. Obviously, he's going to have mana regeneration and extra brand damage. Everything is about brand nodes. On top of that, most of the damage that he is going to take is going to be from his mana. So there's going to be 10% of damage taken from mana before life. Increases and reductions to mana also apply to damage at 30% because of Transfiguration of Mind. And then we're also going to get 20% of our maximum mana as energy shield as well. There's going to be 50% less cost of mana, less cost of skills, which means we can spam a lot of skills as well, and less reservation wherever that applies. Lastly, you can also take Arcane Surge, or honestly, none of this entire tree is basically not so great for us. It would be nice to be able to get immunity to elemental ailments, but that's the last two Ascendancy skill points over there, so I'm not going to bother too much. So with the Hierophant, the whole idea is to go for brands. It's all about brands, right? It's crazy brands, and the idea being to spam as many brands as possible and destroy the enemy. You can also go for a little bit of increased cast speed and things like that, if you so wish. Most of the nodes that we have taken, if you can see from the tree, we go into Mind over Matter, where more damage is taken from mana. We also basically take a lot of the brand nodes as possible, brand damage, brand attachment range, etc, etc. You take that as much as you can. You take as many energy shield plus mana nodes as you can. You take cast speed if that becomes a thing that you're really concerned about. You can actually forego a lot of your cast based nodes. Oh, I've also taken blocking spell damage while holding a shield. That would be pretty good. Your whole idea is to stay far away from the enemy and pound them. So blocking attack damage is not going to be a pretty big thing, but blocking spell damage may be something that you would be looking into. Again, lots of brand skills over here. Again, power charges. Also more mana recovery, more mana leech. You can actually, there is an option to forego. Of course, we take Heart of Ice. We want to penetrate and we want to leech as much of damage as we can. We want maximum life leech as we can from cold. We want maximum freeze duration. As much and as much and as much and as much as we can. We've also taken a little bit of life nodes over here, few life nodes. We have also taken energy shield leeching as possible. Spell damage is leeched. Now, one thing you can do. Now. One thing you can do over here to make your life a lot better is, if you look at the final stats, we have 392 intelligence. Remember, I have rubbish equipment here. I've just put basic equipment to boost energy shield. You would of course have resistance statistics and cold damage and whatever it is you feel like putting in, but these are basic equips, right? One thing you could do is you could abandon the whole pretense of getting life altogether and go straight into boosting mana as much as you can and as much energy shield as you can. That is one of the ideas that could prove to be very useful over here, and you could combine that with Yeah, you could combine that with Corrupted Soul, or any of the other nodes that are available with Timeless Jewels. If that gives you more, more strength, you could do that. Let's see. Yeah, you could even take Immortal Ambition, because then Energy Shield starts at 0. You can't recharge, regenerate it, but you can leech it. You can leech it like there's no tomorrow, you can do that. And when you're hammering mobs with brands, you probably are not going to be the least bit concerned about how exactly you are getting that energy shield, whether it's being leeched or not, whether there's sufficient leech. With lots of brands about, lots of monsters about, that should not be a problem at all. You could do that. You could also, let's see, you could take other nodes. This is of course Timeless Jewels. I'm not even looking at unique equipment for this purpose. Yeah, you could even get Thoughts and Prayers as a Templar node. Life Recovery from Flask applies to Energy Shield. This is something that you can actually take. Supreme Decadence is a very nice node that could be taken. There is that. We can also go with other nodes. Okay, that's it for Timeless Jewels. So I think Supreme Decadence would be pretty good. Then you would be able to spam this particular, this particular skill's flasks right into your energy shield instead of life. In fact, oh, it's even better. Life Recovery from Flask also apply to energy shields, which is great. Right, you get it from Elegant Hubris. You can buy it on pathofexile.com straight. It would be pretty easy to get as well. I believe we can actually take a look. Elegant Hubris, here we go. Oh, it's not for sale. But, oh wait. I know why that is. Oops. Clear all of this, please. There you go. You get it. It's quite cheap. I think that's an exalted, yeah, 0.5 exalted or something like that. 20 chaos. You can buy this and it would be perfectly fine. You can use it. You can get Supreme Decadence between this particular modifier over here, this particular range, numerical range. So it'd be pretty good. You can add that. And as I said before, you can take out all the cast speed modifiers if you don't care about the cast speed as much. Yeah, you can take out these 4 nodes and you can apply them more to Energy Shield and Energy Shield leeching. That is an option that is available to you. I have decided to use shields, and I'll probably use daggers for critical strikes. But is it really required? Not so much. You're just going to be spamming brands. You can take extra mana in order to in order to help mind over matter. There is that, so a lot of your damage will be coming from the mana instead of life. These are all choices that you have with regard to modifying the skill to get the max out of it. If I look at some things that I might want to reduce, brand critical strike is fine. I do want that. You could take down, yeah, you could take 3 points from cast speed over here, 4 points from this over here, and you can start applying it to mana in order to get maximum mana, maximum bang for your buck. You can take out, yeah, you can take out all of this. It's critical strike, but you can take it out if you don't care. You can just put that into mana instead. The choice does exist. Basically, is what I'm saying. You can take all of that and you can apply it to your builds. Now, let's take a look at spell damage leech. There are a bunch of nodes that we could actually take over here extra in order to leech even more energy shields, so those are also choices that you get. You could forego this entire coal tree completely if you wanted. That is a risk I personally am not willing to take, but you could take it, and then you can throw it all into mana in order to get even more mana, as much mana as you can. So the choices are basically amazing. You could just go for that. In fact, if I do that here, if I take out all of this mana, all of those cast node based Yeah, the cast-based nodes. If I take that out, hold on, cast. Yeah, so we could remove these as well. We could get another 3 skill points right out there. We would have 4, and we can toss that into extra mana, which is available in plenty out here. Mana recovery. No, we're looking for amount of mana, right? This is all mana generation, not exactly what we want. 22% increased mana, you can add that one over here. That increases your mana to 2, 3, 6, 3, which is great. Reduce mana reserves to run even more auras is another very good choice. You have for another 20% of mana increased. We could also go for this, which is spell damage is increased with maximum mana up, and you get 2% increased mana per 100 maximum mana up to 40%. I think that is a very nice one to get to. Should go right up here for this. And then... yeah, that alone gives us about 2,564 mana. And combined with the skill, 100 maximum, we get about we get 50% increase. So we already touched the limit of 40% increased damage. So there is that. We have another 2 skill points that we can allocate. Let's see. I don't think we need this. Energy shield doesn't need to protect mana or anything like that. Yeah, you can in fact take out these nodes and go straight with maximum mana right here. That's 20% straight. Whoa, 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 whoa. Is not what I asked. Hold on. Yeah, let's go slowly. Yes, and then we can also take Mystic Talents for more mana generation and intelligence. So with that, we actually have 381 intelligence, we have 2,777 mana, and 1.8k life. So you still have a lot of life, plus 30% damage taken right out of your mana, and that is actually very strong while you're applying brand damage. So these are all ways in which you can expand the power of your build. We can also go... Mana regen, not really required because we're going to be leeching like crazy. Well, we could also go down this route because we have 3 additional skill points. We could take cold damage and go right up to mana regeneration, right there. It's right there for the taking. We can go down this route in order to get max mana by a very large amount on this skill tree. Let me just disable this, I'm sorry. Yeah. So we can get this and get even more mana if we feel like it. Or we can go, let's see, I want something closer to these nodes over here. Mana reserved, no. Yeah, we can go straight over here. 20% maximum mana, intelligence, more mana. So this is also just perfectly fine. Is that... yeah, that's taken. So what this does is it gives us 3,180 mana, from which 30% of the damage will be taken, plus 10% via Ascendancy. So 40% of our damage goes from mana before it goes from our life. And that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. So technically, you would be tanking, say, 1200 DPS right out of your mana, basically before your max life even comes in. There is that. Now, if you look at the rest of this particular build, if you look at brand damage, let's take a look. We have 55% increased brand attachment range, 78% increased brand damage, more brand duration, obviously, increased cooldown recovery. We can cast a lot of extra brands, just how it is. More activation frequency. So already you can see here 2 additional brands attached. I believe that's over and about the limit of 3 brands attached at any given time. So that gives you about 5 max brands attached. Then you have 90% brand critical strike chance, global critical strike chance plus 100, which is fantastic. So about 200-ish? No, 149 for the spell. 90-ish, 239. Summon a totem for the 1 second, that's 339. And yeah, that's about it. It's about 339% damage. Critical strike chance. So that just boosts your brand critical strike damage, and we also have the multiplier to boost by 60%. Let me just take a look up here. No, it's just 60% critical strike multiplier. We also have 5% increased cast speed with brand skills, and if you look at block, it's not actually that bad. We have 12% 12% block spell damage chance. Not great, but it is sufficient, I feel. It is also based on your equipment. Obviously, if you get decent spell damage blocking equipment, that is going to go up much, much more. Now, let's take a look at leech. We are leeching 0.2% of cold damage as energy shield. We're also going to leech 2.6%, so take it as 3.2%. Because all we are doing is cold damage. We're not doing anything else, right? And we're also going to have a boost in cast speed while we're leeching. And with Arcane Surge, we have 0.5% spell damage leech. So that's about a total of 4% spell damage leeched. And that's just wonderful. Now, if you look at cold, we don't care about the cold resistance right now. Our damage penetrates cold resistance by 6%. Add into this the frostbite skill, which you're going to be throwing in to make the enemies very vulnerable to cold damage. We'll just take a look at that. That is Fury Frostbite. Here we go. Oh wow, the internet's taking a beating, isn't it? Okay, so we have Frostbite skill over here. Frostbite curses all targets in an area, making them less resistant to cold damage and giving them a chance to be frozen by cold damage. So you have minus 44% cold resistance at level 20. That's fabulous. And also increased chance to be frozen. So there's a reason that we take this. It is absolutely fabulous in terms of penetrating and engaging the enemy with cold damage. Speaking of which, we have added damage to cold spells, increased cold damage, which is all around awesome. Chance to freeze, cold damage over time multiplier, lots of bleach involved. That makes the build pretty robust. And at the end of it all, even with mostly crappy equips, flasks not added, no belts, we have 7,187 energy shields, which is great. We have 3,180 maximum mana, out of which we'll be tanking 30% of the damage, so that's awesome. We have 402 intelligence, which will of course go up depending on the equipment that you will be using. There are lots of equipment that you can use in the game that would provide you bonus cold damage. You can equip any kind of thing to your Templar Hierophant. The survivability will be very high. The point, of course, is to keep moving, use movement skills, jump around, do not stand in one place. That is very, very important. So don't just stand in one place. You can use Whirling Blades at level 1 or something like that. Move around, attach the brands, do damage, get out. It's that simple. Now, speaking of the attack skill that we're going to be using Winter Brands. Now you can actually see that Winterbrand is a brand skill. It's a spell skill, it's a cold skill, it's an area of support skill. that you're going to be using to attack the enemies. There is cold damage over time multiplier, which is fantastic, and it also allows us an additional brand to be attached to the enemy. So overall, along with ascendancies, I think that's about 6 brands that we can attach. Now, what happens is when the brand is removed after the duration, we can recall the brand. And when we recall the brand, what happens is winter brand's chilling and cold damage effect will apply to every enemy in the area, dealing even more damage, even more damage, even more damage. Essentially, that is the key, right? So we're going to use brands. This is the first time that we're playing a brand build in Path of Exile. It's going to be interesting to see how we pull that off, but it will be fun when we can get that done. You can imagine how cool it would be at max level to just throw a bunch of brands, recall them, throw a bunch of brands, recall them, and wreak absolute havoc. It would be fantastic to do it. So that's the build at level 100. You can be very flexible with this build, is what I feel. You can add in so many different varieties of, skill combinations to this. You can use totems to drop in freezing pulse, or put in some frost bombs. You can combine it with mines if you wanted via not via totems, but you could just do mines or even traps for the added cold damage. There are so many skill combinations over here that you could use. You can also use curse. I'm not really sure if the brand would allow you to curse, but considering the range at which you're going to be using the brands, you could just have frostbite on a totem for curse on hits, or you could just have it as a skill by itself on you. So that would be, these are choices that you can apply. As far as auras are concerned, you can put in vitality aura, you can put in energy shield, grace aura to get even more energy shield on top of what you already have. It would be a bit crazy, but you could do that. A lot of the auras are going to flat mana reservation instead of percentage reservation, as we covered in the earlier videos. So you have that option as well to increase the energy shields that you will be bringing to the table. In terms of equipment, go crazy. Go crazy. You can go with daggers for maximum critical attack chance. You can go with cold specific equipment. The same thing with armor. I have essentially taken energy shield heavy equipment over here in terms of, but they're all yellows. They're all rare. You can even use uniques over here to get the maximum survivability. You can convert all the damage that you take to cold in and out. You could do that. There are so many ways that you could go about doing this that would make the build very, very robust. You can go max armor as well. I don't necessarily recommend it, but you could go max armor and mitigate damage to the build as much as you can, in addition to all the damage you're tanking with your mana and energy shield. You could get an equipment to ensure that chaos damage does not bypass energy shield. That would also be very good in terms of shifting the entire onus onto your energy shield, and also possibly allowing you to aim for chaos inoculation. But I do not recommend chaos inoculation at the start or even the mid. Chaos inoculation would be an end build skill to get. You don't want to take this at the very beginning, because if you do this even at the beginning or the end of the build, in the middle of the build, you will not have enough energy shield to tank all the damage that you're going to get. To give you an example, when we were playing Storm, we were playing Shockwave, the Thane of Flames build in the Harvest League that we've been showing you. One thing that I will go ahead and show you out here in the game, just a moment. Yeah, here we are. One thing I'll show you with Shockwave Thane of Flames is he has 3,500 life, right? And most of the attacks that he has taken, including damage reduction and everything, bring that down to about 100-150 life. So the maximum physical attack that we've been dealt up to level 90 is around 3.3k, 3.4k with damage mitigation. Assuming that you have the right equips and you have proper block and you have a nice shield and you have resistance, blah 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 blah, you ought to be able to tank most of the damage with your 7k energy shield and your mind over matter on top of your mana. So you have these options that are available to you in order to use. So back to the build. This is our Templar build on the Hierophant. You can change, of course, you can change Alira, you can change to Alira instead of getting 2 passives. That is a choice that is available. I don't necessarily recommend it because with the 2 passives that the Hierophant, the Templar has, it's easy to get max resistance. It's not going to be a problem with intelligence-based equipment. But the choice does exist. So Winterbrand should hopefully allow massive clearing speed in the maps with cold damage spreading out. You can also use Frost Shields. So that's one of the new gems that has been added. Here we go. Superior Frost Shield. It places Frost Shield that drains your energy shield for 1 second or until you run out, gaining stages while this drain occurs. Right? So it drains you every second for a certain amount of energy shield. And that is mentioned over here. Okay, so the Frost Shield will have a maximum of 910 maximum life per stage, with 4 stages giving it 3.6k life. So it will drain your energy shield up to 3.6k life to get itself to that position. It'll last about 10 seconds and it will tank a lot of damage for you. 20% damage mitigation and also 60% for damage mitigation for enemies outside the energy shield. So you have these choices in order to create a very tanky, very powerful build with this particular Hierophant. So there is that. You can use this. You can also use hold on, let me just take a look. You can try and make use of Void Spear as well for maximum brand damage. I don't necessarily recommend it as an essential spell, but considering the amount of freedom that this particular build gives you in terms of the skills that you can wield and go nuts, you could possibly use Superior Void Spear. The idea would be once you plant your brands, you cast the Void Spear in order to make everybody come into one particular place, in one particular area, such that when your winter brand applies, it will start doing damage to all the enemies in that location. However, remember that Void Spear only lasts for 10. Void Spear has a cooldown of 10 seconds. So if you're under attack from a lot of directions, it may not exactly be feasible. I would recommend mastering Frost Shield and then using Void Spear in conjunction with that to achieve maximum tankiness. Right? You would of course be using cold specific flasks. Just a moment. That would be just a second. Yeah, you can use Taste of Hate. It gives you the ability to tank 20% of physical damage as cold damage, 20% of physical damage from hits taken as cold damage during flask effect. So that's further tanking that allows you to survive. Of course, you're going to cap your cold resistance, obviously. You will also gain physical damage as extra cold damage during the time that this flask is running. So that's extremely good. Yeah, so you can use flasks like that to expand your ability to mitigate the damage that you're taking, and also employ auras that give you extra energy shield, and you will be able to pretty much survive most of the content that the game has to offer, and then party up whenever you meet a boss that's too difficult for you to beat up. So that is the build, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Templar Hierophant build that we would like to post before you. Ultimately, with equipment buffs, you should be able to get about 700 intelligence and the appropriate mana. For example, if I was to take this wing and then add intelligence, let's say T4, right? Nothing bad, nothing too onerous. T4. My mana also increases along with my intelligence right there. So there would be a lot of equipment that you'll be adding and crafting and all the theory crafting away. You can easily push this all the way up like a crazy person to get a lot of mana, a lot of energy shield, a lot of intelligence, thereby doing even more spell damage. Just a moment, where was the intelligence over here? Yeah, this node is very important. Utmost intellects. Gives you 42 intelligence, 8% increased intelligence. Very, very important to get a lot of intelligence done. And since we have mentioned intelligence so many times in this video, understand we are not intelligent. And you could potentially take this as an anointed one, that is leech, energy shield, instant life. Maximum total recovery per second from energy leech is doubled. You could actually use this. You could use Ghost Reaver via Cassia anointed onto an amulet. The choice does exist. You could also go for other skills which are not so great. 30% pain attunement, 30% more spell damage. There are so many choices that you have that you can take to buff this build. You can also take exposure tolerance anointed onto your amulet. You would take do increased elemental damage. You would reduce the reflected elemental damage taken. Which would make it easier for you to tank so much that the game has to offer. So the build offers you a lot of choices. It does give you a huge damage potential using brands. You can also use totems to buff, to add further cold damage to the brands that you will be wielding. Remember to use Frost Shield because it gives you additional tankiness that you will require. You will not be using any counter-attack skills in this, so you could toss in some sort of channeling skill if you want to cast a lot of spells, but mostly the damage that you do would come from your brands. You can adopt Arctic Armor for extra physical damage reduction. That would reserve a little bit of mana, but you have 3,700 mana. It doesn't matter at this point, right? It doesn't matter at all. So these are all things that you can do, guys. You can also do 40% more elemental damage if you have dealt a crit in the past 8 seconds. That is another choice that is available. This would be good because ailments are not going to be from critical strikes. Critical strikes won't do extra damage. It won't really matter all that much when your cold skills are tearing the enemy apart and penetrating damage. So that's also another choice that is available. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this particular build as much as we have, and we'll be trying it out in the Heist League and see how it goes. Use movement skills to get around the map really fast and, you know, not waste a lot of time traveling on foot. You don't have a lot of movement speed.